Good morning, everyone. My name's Caroline Hunt, and I'm the Managing Director of Emerald Starfish. And today in the SME Recruitment Forum, I want to spend about 5 or 10 minutes just looking at 5 top tips as to how you can reduce your recruitment costs. So let me first of all just share my screen with you. So what we're going to look at is what your recruitment costs are made up on and how you can reduce these. Really, it's really straightforward. I'm not going to do the question and answer session. I'm not going to record that, but obviously if you've got any questions, please do contact me following this. Okay, so the first area is what makes up your recruitment costs. And it's more than just, kind of the salary or the agency costs. You should look at things like loss of productivity. We've recently lost a member of team, and it's taken us 2 recruitment rounds to replace that person. And it's cost us a lot of money in terms of that, and time as well. Also, things like management time for interviews, that's somebody doing something different away from their day job. Maybe it's to do with your reputation with customers if the person they're used to dealing with has left the organisation. And then on top of that, you've got the kind of the more standard things, such as the recruitment agency fees and advertising costs. If you would Google it, the costs that are listed for recruitment costs are massive, kind of an average of around £7,000. And I think that's a bit unrealistic because I think it depends on your position, but it is worth considering the costs of it to your business. So we're going to first of all kind of have a look at some of the, ways that you can reduce your costs. So the first one is looking at your recruitment agency costs. So typically a recruitment consultant or a recruitment agency will charge you between 15 and 20%. When I was in agency, we always used to start off at 17. We were happy to offer everybody 15% based on contingency-based recruitment. Within the SME market, what I often find is that business leaders are really keen to negotiate this figure down. And I really would advise against this. It's a business decision as to whether you get to see the best candidate or not. And if you're only paying 12% and you've got somebody else who's prepared to pay 17% for that candidate, you are not going to get to see that candidate until the company that will pay 17% has said no. So the only way you can negotiate really is to make there be some reason for the recruiter to take the lower level. And this would be something like retained work. So at Emerald Starfish, everything we do is retained. And that's why we can charge rates that are actually kind of nearer 8 or 9%, because we know that we're going to make that placement. Or you can say that perhaps they can have it at that lower rate on an exclusive basis for the first 2 weeks to give them a real opportunity to make that placement. The reason agency fees are so high is because an agency will only place around 25% of the positions it has, and therefore effectively that it looks at all of the vacancies and charges everyone 4 times what the work it's cost them. So, and set some SLAs with them, what exactly do you want to see for that? And also tell agencies when you want the person to start. Agencies really like this, particularly if you're recruiting a number of positions at the same time or on a continuous basis. They need to know that you want someone to start, for example, on the 1st of July. They've got a deadline to work to, and that really helps them in terms of their planning and their budgeting. So that's one way you can look at your recruitment agency costs if you're using those. So the second is reduce your time to hire. So do you know how long it takes you to hire? So for example, with my person, the first round of recruitment we didn't feel there was anybody suitable at the end of that I wanted to offer a position to. And that effectively cost us double the amount of time. So I would really advise to review across the organisation. Are some people much better at this than others? Are there reasons for leaving vacancies or positions vacant for longer? So really have a look at this, because if you can reduce your time to hire, it will reduce your recruitment costs. Also, by doing this, it's more likely to keep your recruitment on track. very few people within recruitment start with the end in mind, which is getting that person in and starting. So if you can reduce that time to hire, it'll make a huge difference. The next is search CV databases. So we do a lot of work in terms of this. So obviously you can advertise jobs and put them on job boards, and there's a cost to that. But what also there is kind of behind the scenes is it's another way for CV job boards to make more money, is to have a CV database behind that. So for example, we pay annually for access to CV library to access all of the candidates that are there. You can actually do it on a monthly and sometimes even a daily basis, and often they will offer a free trial as well, but it's really worth looking at the quality of candidates there. It's easier than headhunting, and because all of the candidates are there are actively looking for a job, so you can have a look at their CV and contact them directly. And these are the same CVs that recruiters are looking at. And it's easier than using LinkedIn unless you've got a paid tool with LinkedIn, and that can then start to cost you more money. So I'd really invest some money in that. It's hundreds as opposed to thousands. And as I say, it can sometimes be free and can be really worthwhile doing that. So the fourth point is reduce your interview time. So spending lots of time with the wrong candidates is not productive. And this is something that we talk about a lot with our clients. You know, if we manage to attract 100 candidates to apply, you want to be spending the time with the 1 or 2 candidates who can do the job, not all the other also-rans. That's a waste of your time. So really have a look at how you're spending your time. So the number of managing directors, business owners I have that say, oh, I had 400 CVs and it took an awful long time for me to go through this. It's not a difficult job. It can be automated, but really look at who else you can delegate this to. So get somebody to sift the CVs so you're spending more time with the best candidates, and look at the number of stages that you're having. So most of our clients these days, we do the first stage telephone interview, and then they will do 2 interview stages. And more often than not, that first stage is via Teams or via Zoom. And it just makes such a difference. You know, you're not having to book out a room. You're not having to give up that time. If somebody doesn't show up, which, you know, does happen on a fairly regular basis, you're not sat in a room with nothing to do. You can just go back to the day job. And it really gives you a really good opportunity to see that person and have that initial conversation. So I think that that's really important. And, you know, what other things can you do to speed up your recruitment process and reduce the costs of it? So things like using an ATS, they can be relatively inexpensive. And you can do things like bulk reject candidates or bulk email them to say that the next stage will be. If you're using psychometric tests, you can automate all of that so that you are not spending the time doing the process. And then the final point is look at having an employee referral scheme. These have mixed responses, but you know what? They cost so little. It's really worth having that. And also then you've got somebody else within that business invested in the person. So 22% of all placements fail within the first 45 days. And the number one reason for that is because the job isn't quite what they expected. And actually, once people have got beyond that 45 days and understand the expectations of the company and can see, you know, they feel a bit more comfortable, they've met some people, you know, and understand how they're working within the team, with the manager, etc., it gets much more difficult. With an employee referral scheme, you can have somebody within the organisation that's referred that person to be there as that key point to start with. So I would really recommend having one. It does need continual promotion because people don't really understand them and they don't understand the benefits of that. And what I would always do is offer money at the start. So when that person starts within the organisation, pay them on day one, and then offer another payment at the end of your probationary period. It needs to be a meaningful amount, and that will depend on the sort of calibre of candidates and the amount of money that you're paying for roles. But if it's less than standard recruitment costs, then it's onto a winner. So I'd really consider that. So those are the 5 points that I would look at. So thank you ever so much for listening. If you want to know more about how you can reduce your recruitment costs, please book in for a strategy session with me. It doesn't cost anything. You can have 60 minutes of my time and you can look at whatever it is that you want in terms of recruitment. The sessions that I'm running at the moment look at how to negotiate on salary, how to save costs on recruitment, which is what we've covered off here, and also some other recruitment habits that will save you time and money and help you get a better quality of candidates into your workplace. To book on, all you need to do is go and visit our website, emeraldstarfish.com, and access my diary there to book. So thank you very much for your time. Good luck. And my name's Caroline Hunt of Emerald Starfish. Take care. Bye-bye.